Today on Ghost Hunting Badass, I want to talk about the 3 most important things that a ghost hunter has to have. Check it out. So what are the 3 most important characteristics that a good ghost hunter has to have? Well, number 1 is knowledge. You know, ghosts, apparitions, hauntings, these things have been very well studied over the last 140 years. It's important to know what studies have been done. What did those studies reveal? Even if it's a negative result, it's important to understand that. Otherwise, you're going to be doomed to make the same mistakes as they made back then, and you're just going to repeat it, and nothing is going to move forward. Knowledge is everything. You know, a good example is cold spots, for example. You know, you have elements feel, oh, well, cold spots, they are ghost materializing, and they're taking energy out of the air to materialize to make themselves appear. Okay, where's the scientific paper on that? Exactly. There isn't one. I'll tell you where it does come from. It actually comes from the senses of hallucinations, and it has to do with perceiving an apparition. There's a sensation of cold, either sensation of touch or sensation of being cold. It's a trait of seeing an apparition, not a trait of a ghost fucking materializing. But if you don't do your homework, you're not gonna know that. So, knowledge, very, very important. This is a hobby, yes, but it is a hobby with homework. Do your fucking homework. Don't be an asshat. Number 2. Second most important thing is balance. Now, I don't know if you've seen the old Karate Kid movie, where, Daniel's learning how to punch. When do I get to learn how to punch? When you learn how to balance. Balance is important. What I'm talking about with balance is between being skeptical and being a believer. You have to have balance. Balance is vital. Without balance, you're going to have confirmation bias. Yes, confirmation bias swings both directions. Even if you're highly skeptical, confirmation bias can fuck with you. Oh, it's not haunted. Fuck it. Well, you're going to go off that way. It's confirmation bias. Everybody knows believers are very, very prone to do that. They'll ignore, everything but what they want to believe. Confirmation bias. But it happens both directions. You have to have that balance. You have to have that neutrality to be able to move forward. So you can view both elements equally, okay? So what is number 3? The final trait. It is methodology. Now, there's different kinds of teams out there. Now, some teams are very, we'll call them pro-ghost. Well, that's fine, but the only thing you're going to prove is stuff to other pro-groups, pro-believer type groups, okay? You're not going to prove anything to the common person, the guy, oh, yeah, I'm just a normal, average citizen, I'm not buying your shit. You don't want to do that. All right, your methodology matters. Now, when we talk about a scientific methodology, what a scientific methodology is when you approach something, if you're being scientific, your first step is to falsify. There's no such thing as good science with, well, I got a hypothesis. I must verify the hypothesis. That's not what you do. The first thing you do is I need to falsify the hypothesis. This is how I'm going to find out if anything is fucking with my test. In other words, perhaps it might be a variable that's, I need to control. Or I need to set something to monitor that variable to make sure it's not going to mess with my test. If it survives scrutiny, that means, hey, this is worth pursuing, and it's worth adding money to pursue it. So many people look at that falsification element and say, oh, that's just skeptics, being all skeptical. It's not. It's simply being scientific. So, methodology does matter, and you have to have the right methodology. We're not talking about what equipment you use. If you're using a piece of equipment, there has to be a reason, a hypothesis of why you're using that particular piece of equipment, and then you need to be able to test that hypothesis and have controls and it's determine whether or not it's really actually picking up anything paranormal. But to do that, you have to distinguish paranormal from normal. And if you're not being skeptical, you're not going to know exactly what's paranormal and what's normal, because you don't even fucking know what normal is. So it gets complex. I understand that. That is why you have to do your homework. So if you watch this video, you can say the moral of the story is read, learn. Learn as much as you can. Don't put on the blinders and say, oh, I just want to look for ghosts like they do on, Ghost Adventures. Because if you do that, you're going to fail. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.